Good evening everyone and welcome to the No Name Talk Show. We are so happy to be here tonight with you. Tonight we are especially excited about our guest. He comes from far and he's happy to be here. Before introducing him, let me just tell you what he has done for the science world. First of all, his main studies are about nutrition. Indeed, he created a system that measure precisely the energy provided by food. This system was named after him. While he was about 20 years old, he decided not to go to the American Civil War to study, and 5 years later he received his doctorate in agricultural chemistry. Also, he was in the first one to state that the Americans consumed too much fat and sweets and did not exercise enough. And that was while he was still alive more than 100 years ago. So ladies and gentlemen, let me present you Wilbert Olin Atwater.
Hi.
Good evening, Mr. Atwater. How are you today?
I'm fine. I'm very glad to be your guest tonight.
So you landed in Montreal a few hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
How do you find our city so far?
Well, I find Montreal and Laval very interesting.
How come?
Well, you know that my main studies were about nutrition, right? And I can see a big difference in Laval and Montreal versus where I'm from, which is New York. And I had the time to go to a grocery store before coming here, and I was extremely surprised by all the products you have to offer in vegetable and fruit. You have a way to present them that is really attractive, and you can't resist to buy them. So I was very amazed by this.
I remember that you were the first one to declare that the Americans were eating too much fat and sweets. Isn't that so?
Yes, I wasn't the first one to declare that, and I'm really sad to notice that today it's still the same thing.
It must have taken a lot of determination and persuasion to make that statement.
Well, not that much, because I had proof with my machine.
I'm glad you talked about that. This machine is a real mystery for me. How does it work?
Well, to explain to you how it works, I will have to give you a class of biology and chemistry, and it's a little bit complicated.
I understand. But you can explain to us what it does?
Well, the main point of my machine is to measure precisely the energy provided by food, like fish, corn, vegetable, fruit, and everything. And it transfers it in calorie, which is the unit we use to measure the energy.
That's so fantastic. You were so creative when you built this machine.
Yes, but I still am.
I don't doubt that. You just said that you couldn't explain to us how your machine works unless you give us a class of biology and chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose you are very good in this subject.
Well, in 1969, I received my doctorate in agricultural chemistry from Yale University Sheffield Scientific School. And a few years later, I was teaching at East Tennessee University and later at Wesleyan as chemistry professor. So I guess that I can say that I'm pretty good in chemistry.
That's so interesting. Thank you so much for what you do for the science world.
Welcome back everyone to the No Name Talk Show. Here's Marie-Pierre. After the interview of Wilbert Olin Atwater, we have another guest, just for you, and only for you. You probably already heard about the magician of iron, the man who innovated all the methods of construction of iron bridge. Possibly that you know him because of his main structure of his life, the incredible Eiffel Tower. Yes, you heard me well. We are talking about Gustave Eiffel. Born in 1832 in France, he is from Germany. His family adopted the name Eiffel as a reference to the mountain in that region. In 1860, he married his beautiful wife, Miss Mary Godlet, which he has 5 children with. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you the fabulous Gustave Eiffel. Hi, Gustave. Is it okay if I call you Gustave? Gustave?
Yes, sure.
How are you today? How was your trip?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. My trip was pretty nice. I love Laval. Yesterday I went to a restaurant with my wife. It was very good.
Happy to hear that. Now, let's move to more serious thing. Let's talk about you. What bring you when you were young to become a civil engineer?
First of all, when I was young, I was not very studious child. I was thinking that my classes at the Lycée Royal in Dijon was a waste of time. It was very boring. Nevertheless, I earned my baccalaureate in science and humanity. After this, I wanted to become an engineer because of my uncle. He invented a process for distilling vinegar and a large chemical work near Dijon. I went to Polytechnique and École Centrale des Arts et Manufactures, where I specialized in chemistry. After my graduation, I was hoping to find a job with my uncles, but after a family dispute, it became impossible. So I turned around and worked as an assistant for my brother-in-law. I appreciate a railway engineer to be his private secretary. Not a long time after, Charles Nepver, the engineer who hired me, found me a designing job for a 72-foot iron bridge. This was how I started my career in civil engineering.
Wow, that was very interesting. Now, let's talk about your most fabulous project.
Sure, everybody knows that's the Eiffel Tower, whose height 984 feet. It took 2 years, 2 months and 5 days to build it. I also designed the metal structure of the Statue of the Liberty, and I participate to the construction of the Panama Canal.
That's amazing, but you got some problem with the Panama Canal if I can remember.
Yes, that was a dark part of my life. On February 9, 1893, I was declared guilty and sentenced for 2 years in jail, along with a fine of 20,000 francs, because there was corruption. After this, I lost my reputation.
So, what did you do after that?
When I went out of the jail, I focused my life on aerodynamic and meteorology. I made many studies on the subject. My research was published in 1907 and 1911 on the resistance of the air in connection with aviation. They gave engineers the data to design and build flying machines.
I didn't know that. Can you tell me more about your research?
Yes, during the First World War, the military wanted my research to make fighter jet. The project started in 1917, but it ended in March 1980 because the pilot of the prototype died in an accident.
Well, that's all the time we've got for today. Thanks, Gustave, and I really hope that we're going to meet again in the future. Thanks again, and have a good day.
Thank you for the experience. I really appreciate it.